Just as the physician studies cases and sometimes hard, complicated cases in order to learn about medicine, how to make a proper diagnosis and recommend the proper medicine. And then the healthcare workers will convey to the people, the public, that they should be careful not to come too close to this person who might be contagious. And then the responsibility falls on every member of the community to check himself out, make sure he doesn't have those symptoms. So too, the rabbi, the Rav, is like a doctor, a physician, but only for spiritual maladies, for very bad attributes. And I think a case study could be made of Bilam, from whom we have to learn so much about what it means to be spiritually ill. The man was base, he was immoral, he crossed all bounds, and he was a first-class anti-Semite. But there are three things about Bilam that are a pella, that really defy imagination. Number one, Bilam is the Odea Das Elyon. He has moments in which he receives a prophecy, which, according to our rabbis, only compares to that of Moshe Rabbeinu, and yet he reaches this low level of immorality, living, as it were, with his beast, with his aton. How could there be both bad and good, both day and night, evil and righteousness in the same person? Two extremes. It seems impossible. But the answer, I believe, is that Bilam, did not prepare himself for those high experiences of Yodea Das Elyon. For whatever reason, the Almighty chose him and bestowed upon him that level of prophecy, but he never internalized it. It was never really a part of his being. The second thing that we learned from Bilam is that we know that there are people who are immoral, and they themselves are aware of their base kind of low-life behavior patterns. They would never dream of preaching it to others. A man who's married and lives with other women, would not want to preach to his daughter that she marry a man of that type. And yet the Pella is, as the Mishnah tells us in Avos, that Bilam was willing to preach what he practiced. He had a yeshiva with students. And the answer, I believe, to this Pella of Bilam is that he made a philosophy, Ashkafat Olam, out of his low base, immoral behavior. And the third thing about Bilam is that when God tells him, because the people of Israel are blessed, and therefore you shall not curse them, all that Bilam hears is Me'ain Lavo. God says, I'm not going to let you go. And Rashi adds, send higher officers of a greater echelon. That means that a person really hears whatever he wants to hear. He believes that which fits into his own narrative. May we all check ourselves out, as in physical elements, so too in spiritual elements. Make sure that we have moments, exhilarating, inspiring moments of Yodea Das Elyon. We take that into our heart. Make sure that we prepare ourselves and never preach, if we fall, what we practice. And finally, never to be so full of ourselves that we hear only what we want to hear. Yiratzon, that we learn the lessons from Bilam and take the proper care. Kein Yiratzon. Amen.